sick leave and how we're going to be looking at treating the sick leave going forward. I believe the procedure right now is that LSAA will bring it to its members, and they'll try to put it to a vote, I understand, as early as possible, and then we'll go forward from that. And the contract structures was a 1+3, which is the 1-year contract was for last year, which is over now, and the 3-year contract is the first year being the current year we're in now, plus the next 2 years. Thank you.
Any questions from anybody, or statements from any? Thank you. Okay. Next, I need a motion to enter into contracts. Permission to enter. Need first and second by Mr. Nutter and by Ms. Martin. Second. Okay. Memorials. Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call on the permission to enter contract.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yes.
Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota? Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
All right. We're going to have a moment of silence for the following people. Nancy Carr Robinson, mother of Michael Ducharme, McAvenue School principal. Another moment of silence for May Conant, mother of Van Conant, Maury School teacher. Another moment of silence for Donald McCoy, brother of Mary E. R. Bator, Executive Secretary of Finance and Operations, brother-in-law of retired Daily School custodian Ronald Bator, and uncle of Susan McCoy, Washington School teacher. Moment of silence. Thank you. Under unfinished business, I've passed out the subcommittee assignments. If anybody has any questions, I'll be able to see them later on. I need a motion to accept and place on file. Motion by Mr. Hoey, seconded by Ms. Doherty. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Kalpavi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One slight change on our side. We had circulated the same personnel, the same subcommittees, and in the one change that we're making in the administrative representative, it will be the Lowell head, the head of Lowell High School instead. I think she's the head of Lowell High School will be closer in addressing, and then if the head of the school would require anybody else from central office, they will make sure to call them. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go into motions. Our first motion is by Mr. Nutter. Request the superintendent update committee on the status of capital budget. How much is there and what are we using it on? Need a second? Ms. Martin, thank you.
I heard Mayor Kennedy at a meeting a couple of weeks ago stating that he thought that there was some money that the school department hadn't yet spent, and I went and looked at some of the motions that have passed, and so I just wanted to get an update from the administration of where we are and what we're doing with the money that has been put for capital expense.
Is there any further discussion? Thank you. Next, we have another motion by Mr. Nutter. Request the superintendent share the results of the recent food service audit as soon as it becomes available. Second, Mr. Hoey. Mr. Nutter.
Again, that pretty much speaks for itself. I know that we just had an audit, and I just wanted to share the information.
Thank you. All in favor, except, yes, Mr. Hoey.
Just one thing, when you, through you to the superintendent, when you do look at that audit, I'd like to know right away if we ever got that food truck and what type of truck, and if it was on the road, that type of thing, on the audit, how much we spent on it, if you don't mind. in
Yeah,
that
I'll
audit?
report back.
Thanks.
Yes? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report on the audit is not completed by the state auditor, so as soon as that is available, we will send that to the school committee.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Mr. Dakota's not here, but I think I'll read his motion and place it, so it can be vetted out. His motion is to request the superintendent to establish a special task force to review and recommend updates to the current Lowell High School stipends, including but not limited to athletic coaching, student clubs, band, and chorus. Need a second?
Second.
Mr. Hoy, thank you. All right, Mr. Superintendent, Dr. Kalfawi, that will be taken care of, correct? Yes. Thank you.
Question, Mr.?
Yes.
Just a question. I thought that, or through you to the superintendent, are these positions generally union positions that have been negotiated? And, I mean, I know we just did a contract with the teachers union, and we may have one with the LSAA, so if we just sign contracts, why are we reopening, or looking at reopening?
Very good question. If I may, when we were negotiating the contracts, this had come up as part of discussion. Just to account for them, really. There was never any review on our part or the UTL or together collaboratively to look at any one of them and see whether they needed revisions or anything like that. So this calls for us to just establish a task force with UTL. We're going to invite them to be on it, school committee, administration, and high school, particularly because most of the clubs are in high school, and see if there is any way we could review them and are there any changes. It could be that we come back with saying no change recommended, but I'm going to go and guess that there will be some changes recommended.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Thank you. All right, next motion by Mr. Lay, request superintendent to build more administrative support in our middle schools when establishing the FY19 budget. Second by Mr. Hoy.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Our middle schools, some of them have been doing very well, and I know throughout the years there are some middle schools that need help, and just want to superintendent to. Do you agree with that, also, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, if I may, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think when I did the same tour you did, one time we met together at one of the middle schools. Middle schools have generally 5 adults to take care of somewhere around 700 students. We have the principal, assistant principal, guidance counselor, and social worker, and one secretary. If you just compare them, say, to our houses in the high school, which tend to require a little less discipline, and you do the count, we have about in each house, we have seven, in each houses without counting the central administration of the high school. So I think the middle schools, I've heard for every time I visit middle schools, that is the first thing I hear, and I'm sure Mr. Hoey reported it several times to me, that he heard it, you reported it as well, that's the first thing the principal would say. It's like, we just don't have enough, to run with 5 adults trying to take care of over 700. And they understand it's an issue of budget, but, I think it'll be a good idea to have a look at that.
Great, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Yes,
Mr. Hoy?
I just want to say one thing on that. Mr. Superintendent, I know I like this motion, but when we say administrative support, I would love to see in a few schools, I don't want to keep saying the names of the schools, but I don't want to see something less than a vice principal. I think what happens in all your middle schools, even some run better than others, we know that, But the real problem to me is some of them have like extreme busing problems, and the vice principal has to deal with those problems, and some of them have a stack that might take someone just 2 hours alone to deal with those issues. And even like if they have a real bad thing happen on a bus, Mayor, that person has to go look at a film, run the film down to make sure everything's covered. And I just think we need to put in every middle school something, not just one or two of them. Even though there's two that maybe need more than others, I think all your middle schools need some support there. So I hope you come up with some idea that's not gonna cost us any dough. I know, it's, so, well, there's ways. I don't wanna say it tonight, but I believe there's ways we can do it. But I think it's a good motion. And is that your first motion?
That's my first.
Pretty nice. I don't know if I would have picked that yet, but good job, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
Thank
You knew I
you.
was gonna do that to you.
Thank you for the critique. Okay. Any further discussion? All right, motion to accept. Next motion by Mr. Lay, request the superintendent to establish a minimum class size of 10 students in Lowell High School elective classes before it can be offered. The superintendent must approve all exceptions. Mr. Lay.
Yeah, this is.
Motion to, Mr. Doherty, thank you.
Yeah, this is pretty much efficiency, money savings. I know I've been talking to some of educator here in Lowell, and there are some classes that are offered and not too many students in the class. And if I may again, Mr. Superintendent, is that correct that there are some classes that we need, that we don't have enough students in the class?
Yes. Last year, when we were negotiating the contract with the UTL, we audited all the schedules for the last 3 years at least, because it involved the part of the contract with UTL is, you know, they have limited number of preps, maximum number of preps and a maximum number of classrooms, classes, and anything above, we have to pay, obviously, additional funding, additional monies. So when we did the audit, we looked at a couple of things. One thing is that there were several classes that were very, very low numbers.
That's good, thank you.
And then also, one of the things, I think it was the system itself, the way they did the schedule. I think what we would love to see is a schedule that is driven by student request, what student wants, and then we schedule.
And
I think often we do it the other way.
class size of 10, is that good for
yeah.
now?
I think it would be reasonable. We looked at the finances and what it would cost, and it's easy to break it down and get an idea of what the classroom, at least on the direct costs, the teacher costs, not anything indirect. And I think the size of 10 is reasonable.
Thank you.
Mr. Hoy? And Ms. Doherty?
Mayor, maybe you can help me out with this. My question, I don't know much about these electives, but let's say you had a child with, or it's not a child at the high school, you have a student that's, and you only have 3 of them. They want to take some special language course or whatever. Would that mean they couldn't get that?
Well, not automatically. It doesn't automatically means a no, because I can relate a little bit to what we used to do in college. Often, we have classes that are desired by 3 to 5 students. You have really options. One option is to try to not schedule them every term, maybe schedule them every other term, so these 3 won't take it now, they'll hold off until there'll be 3 or 4 more to take them, whatever, and then constitute a little bit of better number to offer the class. That would be one way to do it. Another way to do it is, if you're talking languages sometimes, let me explain to you what the problem is, if I may take a minute. According to the contract, our teachers are limited to having 5 classrooms with 3 maximum preps. So if you take a person that's teaching, their 5th class is 5 students. So there's a little efficiency loss, but it's not huge, because that happens to be their 5th class, and if they don't, if they don't have any other class to teach, it's okay. But if that person is teaching the 6th class, according to the agreement, you're about to pay them 20% more of their salary, of their, the class. So if you take that 20% of what it constitutes, I think one could make the argument that you could take these 3 students who want to take, say, Portuguese 4 or whatever, and send them to a class of Portuguese and transport them, it'll still cost you cheaper, and pay the whole tuition for it. So I think we have to look at the efficiency on that. Obviously, if it's a core course, that's always is sacred. A core course, an advanced calculus course or something. We encourage our students to do that, because several students who want to get into a good engineering school, they may want to take an advanced math course. We encourage them to do and we will do everything possible to offer that course. Even if we cannot offer it, we usually we'll try to make an arrangement with Middlesex Community College or University of Lowell and secure that opportunity for them, because their admission to a good engineering school may be constrained by taking that extra course. So that's, I believe, is something that we need to look at. What we are trying to avoid is to just, we'd love to see a change. We're changing from just because we did it this way 10 years ago, let's continue doing it. And also redo our systems. Our systems allow us to do it now, not that we are doing it, is to have the students first see what they want. Electronically, we can know exactly what they want, and then really offer the courseware by first looking at the demand, what the students want to have, and what they're required to have, of course, to graduate.
Ms. Doherty?
Thank you. Through you to the superintendent, I think you make some excellent points, and I'm really relieved to hear things like advanced calculus or core classes. I know in the past, my understanding with the higher levels of Latin, let's say, weren't always filled. I guess really my question to you is and I love the idea of having it student-driven too, do you want to be the one that sees all these exceptions, or would it be more appropriate to go through the head of school?
It is always going to be the head of school and who will just seek for approval, that's all. But he or she, whatever, the head of school will have to first bring this. They never come to me unless they go to the head of school. The head of school just needs central office to say, because especially when they require that to be a 6th class or an additional prep, that's going to cost additional monies beyond what is budgeted as a salary for the teacher. They're going to need to come to us. What has been done in the past is they did not. And when we audited the systems for 3 years prior, we've seen that there were, and they come to us as what we call exception to that 16G, whatever the regulation, and it was several pages. Some of them were legitimate exceptions, such as, music. Music is always legitimate exceptions because you have a teacher teaching several classes of music, but they're really just class names. Usually the students are together in a chorus or something in music, but some others are also legitimate because it's classes that the students need to take to graduate or need to take to get a college of their choice. But some of them were things that we never knew about it, and we were spending quite a bit of money beyond the salaries. And that always creates a problem with the union, because they will grieve it and say, we need to get paid, and we say no, and it ends up with a grievance on your desk. So I think if the central office knows about it in advance, then we look at the finances and we say, yeah, we can do a few, or let's negotiate delaying a few, and some we might be successful in getting an exception from the union and say, yeah, we don't expect to pay anything for it, things like that.
I also like the idea of offering it once a year to try to get the 2 semesters worth of student interest, but sounds like a good plan. Thank you.
Yes.
I know this is more of like a budget motion, but I do like the idea of having a minimum of 10 students, just because, especially in elective classes, or at least the ones I've taken, I noticed that there's a lot of discussion, and when it's a really small class, it's hard to get the discussion going and get the most out of that class. So when there's more than 10 students, that's a lot easier. So I really like this idea. Thank you.
Good point. Any further discussion? If you allow me from the podium, this is a good motion, Mr. Lay. I mean, we're talking about, the need to ensure that we offer to our students the best that we can, but we watch our expenses. But, Mr. Superintendent, I would also ask that when we look at this, we also ask our students to achieve. And there are many students who fall into that category that need that fourth year of whatever a certain language is if they want to get into some of the top-ranking schools like Harvard or MIT. There's certain demands that are made on them. So I know we have to look at that, and I know today you have far more options, and you talked about those through the internet and other areas, but I would hope, along with this motion, we would make sure that whatever happens, we don't derail a student, especially a student who's achieved well, because quite often we say, what are we doing for achieving students? And I don't want to just see a situation where we take something away from them. That's my suggestion. Any further discussion? Motion to accept, thank you. Okay, next motion by Mr. Hoey. Request the school committee consider replacing the following subcommittee: Safety and Discipline, Alternative School Programs, Student Support Services, Special Education, Ad Hoc on Extended Time, Mayor's Task Force on Desegregation, with the following separate committees. A Student Support Services. This subcommittee will deal with the matters pertaining to student support services, including safety and discipline, alternative education, parent support, other student services, related matters referred by the school committee or the superintendent. The next committee would be special education. This subcommittee will deal with all matters pertaining to special education. Second?
Second.
Mr. Lay, thank you. Mr. Hoey?
Thanks, Mayor. Let me start, I'm going to only speak once, but let me start by saying you did a pretty nice job with your subcommittees here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed. You put me in charge of sports, wow. You remember 23 years ago, I made a motion that created the Lowell High School Subcommittee.
Correct.
And I know how much work we did back
Yes.
then, and it wasn't as big as the high school issue, but the football issue is quite an issue. But I want to say,
those are important issues.
I want to say this, it's important to me that I think you did a great job picking this. On my motion here, I just think, the last election, 2 years ago, I run on teachers' contracts, how much paras were getting paid, and I was also running on our HR office, something that I really fought hard so far, and I'm so proud of them, it's crazy. But getting back to my motion, I'm not looking to be the chair of either one of these subcommittees. I just think special education is, it's approaching 1/3 of our budget, and I think it should be sitting all by itself. And I think you need someone maybe like the person to my right, or Miss Martin, out of the group that we have here to chair this. I think we have a lot of big issues that are facing us with special ed. And you don't even have to be on a subcommittee, Dominic. Just go to them. Everybody lets you in, everybody lets you speak about it. And it's just a motion that's dear to my heart. I created one before, and I'm hoping I get support on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Should we have a roll call on it? Ms. Doherty?
Actually, I just threw you to the superintendent to get his way in. We originally had this subcommittee set up as special ed was separate when I was on the committee, not in the last term, but years ago. So I'm not really sure why it was combined, but as someone who just came off a 2-year serving as the chair of the current reiteration and looking forward to continuing to do that, it didn't seem like we were overly burdened with meetings. So I'm looking for a justification of what your thoughts are. Would it be better to have special ed by itself? And I would be interested in staying on special ed if we did do that.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I do not know where they were combined. I have no knowledge of that. It happened before me. When I came, they were already combined. I think we have, as you know, to current with the last negotiations that we had with the LSAA, is that the special ed director has been pulled out, and special ed director, if you read, in school law, is one of those few people that whose contract has to be approved by the school committee. It's a special position that really is becoming more and more important. In the last the last year, the mayor and myself and the special director, I think we had more meeting than with the city about several things with SPED than any other department. They may not have been brought immediately to that subcommittee, whatever, but there's a lot of work that's coming up. There's a tremendous amount of work that's coming up in there, and as Mr. Hoey mentioned, their budget is getting bigger and bigger. It's probably the most important departmental budget in any one of our departments. It is also the largest department in any one, and the issues are becoming more and more important. And I think we, in light of what we are looking at doing together, it's definitely something that, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We can make it happen within the current subcommittee. It's not, that crucial. It's not gonna. But I think if it's separate, then it can be on its own. And I would intend at that point to have the director of SPED to be directly the administrative rep, because I think she's more knowledgeable than any one of us. But if she's a SPED, and it serves better the school committee to have the direct link to that person, as opposed to going via others.
If I might respond, well, given that feedback, I would totally support separating the subcommittees and having special ed be a separate subcommittee. As I said, it was the way it used to be years ago, and I would also like to just add my name. I'd love to stay on special education. It's dear to my heart, and you could make that, the staff piece later, but for now, I would support separating special education as its own subcommittee.
Any further discussion on this? It was a good motion, Mr. Hoey, but I'd like to have a roll call on this.
Okay, excuse me, can I
Yes,
speak again on
sure.
that just for a second? I'd have no problem making a motion right now to vote you chair of that. I think you've worked hard enough to maybe get that.
I think.
I don't know.
what
I don't know if we can add that now,
I'd like
but
to
I want-
allow all the members to
Oh, yeah, I
have
forgot
input
you
into
picked
that.
those. Sorry, Mayor.
Okay.
That's all right.
No-
I do
no
this
problem.
once in a while, but
Good, you have a good heart, but the thing is, I'd like to make sure everybody has an opportunity to apply. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hoey?
yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yes.
Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota? Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
All right, the next motion by Mr. Hoey. Withdraw that. We
Can I
have that-
withdraw that until Andy's here, until Mr. Dakota's back? Maybe we could talk about it another time.
Well, it's part of the agenda, so we'll have a
Okay.
discussion with the
All right,
agenda.
good.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hoey.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Could I just ask, I know that there is a meeting in the offing that's been scheduled, that is going to be happening, February 1st, maybe? I had just seen the email
I'm
today.
going to make a suggestion of what we do when this matter comes up. Okay,
It's on the
I think.
agenda.
Okay.
Why don't we wait till the matter comes up, and then we'll go from there, okay? Thank you. Next, a motion by Ms. Doherty. Request the superintendent provide the committee with a report on professional development services to help staff manage the emotional and mental health needs of our students, as well as suggestions for additional supports needed going forward. Motion, second. Thank you, Mr. Hoey.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a quick kind of my backstory. I think my colleagues, and maybe the new ones haven't seen as much of it, but we get regular emails about students at all levels across the city being taken by ambulance to the hospital due to mental health concerns. And we know that's a last resort action from our schools. But in my experience, I'd never seen so much of this happening. And that's really what prompted this motion, is just really looking at, as we go into a new budget season, what are we doing to support our staff around the mental health needs of our students? Many of our students are coming in traumatized and with experiences that they need supports, because if they're not emotionally stable in the classroom, they're not learning anything. So really, my intent with this is to just get some information about where we're at and some feedback from the administration about maybe some priority suggestions going forward that might impact our budget. That was my thinking behind that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Mr. Hoey?
Yes, this motion right here, I believe you're saying, are we sending our teachers out to get some training on how to deal with all that? And I like this motion. What I really think, this motion, we could also, we just made a good thing happen between us and LSAA, and some of those people are psychiatrists, right? In that group, is that correct? Psychologist. Well, I think in this motion, when you think about it, and we should be worrying about all the children, but we've made the system over the years, the same thing they did to the prison system. You made it so inclusive that I don't believe there's enough help on the ground to do the job the right way. And the reason why I say that is I remember working with a lot of mental health people that were put into prisons, and I could not deal with those people. I just couldn't do it. I could deal with someone that was in for murder or robbed a bank or anything like that. I had no problem. But if they had mental health problems, and that's what they've done to our prisons, they're loaded with mental health issues. In our schools, that's what's happening to the same thing to the system. That's why, again, it's the special ed and all the help we need. It's incredible, but great motion, by the way. But I think we have to look at the staff, too, and help some staff out when we're looking at this whole issue. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, motion approved. All right, next motion by Ms. Doherty, request the superintendent to ensure that Lowell Public Schools website for each school provides information on its school site council members, upcoming meetings, times, agendas, and minutes similar to the Pine Arts School website. Second, Ms. Naletta, thank you. Ms. Doherty?
Thank you. I think the motion speaks for itself. I'm trying in any way we can to encourage our parents' engagement and to be involved in the schools. And by law, each school is supposed to have a school site council. And my intention with this motion, and it's a repeat from last March, is to really have as much information as possible on each school's website for parents at those schools. And I call out the Pine Arts School website because they're doing it exactly as was my intention with this motion. And so I'm just bringing it up again, see if we can get all of our schools on board with providing this amount of transparency to our parents. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I got to say something
Yes,
on
Mr.
this,
Hoy.
too. Is there any way, I would like to see, if this is saying to us that they're doing a fantastic job, what you wanted, right? So is there any way that you could get that to come down here and do what do you call that? Spotlight on excellence? Is it worth that, to do that? So we can show other schools what they're doing? Because I know the Pine School, they love to come down on TV. There's no doubt about it. Our parades and the families get together. I live right behind it. I watch the field days. I let them use water. I let them use electricity. It's a great thing because that school can teach people something. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not a big fan of all schools, but this school is one of my favorites, so here we go. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Thank you. Motion to approve, thank you. All right, next we have reports of the superintendent. Our first report is workforce report. Any discussion on that? Ms. Doherty?
Thank you, Your Honor. I just had a couple of questions about the report, so I don't know if I can just go right to the superintendent. I thought it was very inclusive, and it was great to see all the information. One of the things that jumped out at me, we had a couple of motions about diversity, and I was actually, I think I had a motion looking for the status of what we'd been able to see in terms of diversity. So on page 6, we see that we have hired, one of the things, the report came out earlier, a few months ago, but it didn't include information about the diversity of our administrators. So we had 25, and we had a huge uptick in the amount of hiring. It was 70% increase in the number of people hired over the previous 3 school years, which I think speaks to Mr. Hoey's point about the incredible workload that HR has been under. But when we look at the diversity of our administrators, we hired 25 administrators between May and August of 2017, and 23 of them were white. So I felt like that was low on diversity. We had 4 new principals, and there was no information about the diversity of our 4 new principals. Just to point that out, when we're looking at the progress we're making on diversifying our staff, I would like to be all-inclusive, including, our top managers, our principals, and our administrators. On page 9, there was some discussion about working with the head of school, and it just a typo. It says head of school Martin at the very bottom of page 9, and I know that that's not current, so you want to just change that. My question on page 13, we had talked about, and I think this is a fantastic effort regarding our licensure program to really build our staff, get our paraprofessionals on track to become future teachers, things like that. On page 13, there was a discussion about how we will continue to use Fitchburg because we've got this longstanding relationship with Fitchburg via our Lowell Teacher Academy. But I was also wondering, have we reached out to UMass Lowell? Because they now have a bachelor's in education program that they never used to have. They just had a graduate program. And I know we've got a good relationship with Fitchburg, but UMass it's right down the street. So I'm just wondering if there have been any discussions with UMass Lowell, and I would ask that question through you to the superintendent. And then I just have one more after that. Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, with respect to your question on page 13 with UMass, yes, we have reached out to UMass Lowell. We've invited them here as well when we invited several universities to come into a meeting and colleges, and UMass Lowell was the only one who did not come. They had something else to do, and I just met with the dean, I think it was just last week, either Thursday or Friday. I met with the dean. They just started their bachelor's program, and we talked extensively about how we can get our people involved. These people, a lot of our paras are ready to finish their bachelor's. They're not ready. They were clearly not ready. They only have 19 students right now, and their students are all day students for the time being, and they will. It's very hard because our people work during the day, so they need a program that is catered for them. We explored about the idea of them coming in and offering classes one at a time, whatever, in our facility with their teachers, and they were clearly not. The dean had expressed that they weren't ready for that yet. On the other side, we've had very good response from MCC. Not to say that one is better than the other. I'm not comparing the other one. It's just that they are ready because they've been doing that for a while for the folks who. So I think the plan that we're heading toward in the future with the all 3 partners, the plan that seems to make more sense is to have our folks work first with MCC because they offer more flexibility on the class times, and tuition as well is substantially lower, and then work on some sort of articulate some sort of an agreement where they will be then automatically accepted to Lowell, to UMass Lowell, to finish their year 3 and 4. So that's something that's still in the works, and I know that Angie has been working extensively and meeting with both of them. So with respect to Fitchburg State is a longstanding agreement we have with them, where through the LTA, we offer PD classes, and then if the class is first run by them and it meets their criteria, then they would automatically also give credit, which is, it's a double win for our teachers because they get the PD that is required by the state for their license, but they also will get credits for it towards achieving a higher degree. So that's a little bit different. And on the question that you asked on page 6, it's hard. It's hard. I think it's a problem that is faced by every urban school. I sit with them once a month, and we discuss that usually a lot. And I think everybody is suffering of the same thing. It's getting administrators that are a better representation of their student body in urban schools. It's not a lack of trying. Everybody's trying. I think it's a lack of availability. They just, there's the talent, you know, a lot of talented minorities, and they get immediately scooped up by the companies. You know, instead of going into science teaching, they'll be scooped up by an engineering firm, or so it's a highly competitive market. So we're working on that. The numbers do not reflect the effort. I think it's more the numbers reflect the reality of the region that we're in. And I think, and then the third one was just a spelling. I mean, a typo error, obviously. And then I'm going to ask Ann Sheehy if she has anything to add to that.
Thank you for that, and I really appreciate hearing the update with UMass Lowell. I think that, you know, we have such a strong partnership with them already. Their student teachers are in our schools, so it's a great down the road, maybe we could have that partnership. So I'm happy to hear that you're having those conversations. My last question, and Ms. Shi is here, she probably would be the best one to answer this. And I'm not expecting numbers, but I know that one of the things we did, and it's referenced on page 17, one of the things we did in the last term was we increased our pay for substitute teachers and to try to be more competitive. And I'm just wondering, and I know I'm not expecting specific data, but if you have any sense of, have you been having an easier time this year with those increased rates? And I know we didn't like throw a bunch of money at it, but if you've seen any improvement in getting substitutes in our classrooms. Thank you.
Not so much.
Yes, Ms. Doherty, I just want to go back to a couple of things that you mentioned, and then I'll answer that question. The mentioning of head of school Martin is not an error. He actually began that process with us, so I didn't want to take his name out of there, but he did spearhead that process. And if you notice, this document, I keep updating with the new information, but I leave the previous because I think that it's important to be able to compare what we're working on. Dr. Kalfawi had mentioned working with UMass Lowell and Middlesex Community College in Fitchburg, and I just want to add to that one of the reasons we're working with Fitchburg on developing this licensure program is because they are offering the coursework at $285 per course, not credit. And if we are able to utilize our course reimbursement on this program, which we are, it will virtually end up free for the participants. So that's really the reason that we've latched onto that, although we've worked proactively with UMass Lowell and Middlesex. Currently, we're holding pop-up career fairs at UMass Lowell. We're always collaborating with all of our higher ed institutions in the city. Your question about substitutes. We have been able to increase the number of substitutes. I don't have the data with me. We've also started to advertise more that we've increased the rates in the Lowell Sun, in El Mundo, in the Globe, so you've probably seen some of those ads. So the word is getting out that the increase has taken place, and we are filling up our course for substitutes monthly.
If I may add to that, no, the salaries didn't really help all that much. I mean, they helped in the sense of bringing us to the level of others, so that was now we at least can compete effectively, where before we would be totally ignored. So they helped in that sense. We have started several initiatives to try to help HR get more subs, and I know that the Assistant Director, April, had gone and visited a lot of the colleges. One of the initiatives we started was go in and look at the recent graduates who didn't get a job. They may have a bachelor's degree in math, but they haven't landed a job yet. Why can't they do sub? They're certainly qualified to sub. And the HR office has worked on that, and they had some really successful numbers that they've showed me from that initiative. Another initiative that we're looking at is trying to convince some of our qualified parent liaisons, and we're already working with a couple of them. They know the kids, they certainly know the teachers, and if they're qualified to do subbing, why not do some subbing because they're all part-timers. And we're trying a couple of models, and it seems that that's pretty successful. So we may come at the time of the budget with some proposal to redirect some of our sub money to that. And the third one that we're looking at, and you'll see it at the time of the budget will come back as well, is take some of that sub money, remember we have a sub money account, and dedicate that to what we would call a permanent sub within the building, a floating sub. Some schools call them floating sub. Because when you look at our data, it will show you that at any point in time, we always have so many subs needed. So if you know that every single day of the year, say you're gonna need 5, 10 subs, why not try to make those more of, permanent in there and just have them float around? And because one of the difficulty that we're having is that between the PD and between the regular sicknesses and personal days, it did happen several times, and I wouldn't be surprised that some teachers reached out to you or some parents reached out to you. It did happen several times where we were caught without a sub, and it became very difficult because now the principal has to step in or the assistant or something. So we want to avoid that. We want to make sure that we have solutions for that. I think the work that HR has done and in the area of sub this last part of the year, I think we're going to see some very good results out of it coming up.
Ms. Hoey?
Thanks. I just want to touch one spot of it. I don't have it in front of me right now, but when we talk about hiring for diversity, the one concern I had, the best thing I've seen, by the way, is the paras. We have about, I don't have the numbers, 300 and something. I believe 200 of them have a bachelor's degree. One thing I'd like to see in your next report is how many Cambodians are in that number. Because I did pick up when I seen all these numbers that it seems like we're having a hard time finding any Cambodian teachers. We did get 11 hired as paras, and I think that's great, but I want to see some teachers, and maybe Dominic can find us a few. But another question, another thing I'd like to say about that, I believe that's maybe the best thing I've seen for a long time, that we can maybe turn those a couple of hundred paras into teachers. So I think you have to keep the pedal to the metal there for that one and stay there, because I think it could be the best pool that we're going to find, that we can get some diversity in our schools. But I got to get back to one thing. It's very important for my colleagues to hear all this stuff that runs through this mind. We got to look at a lot of things. Like, I talk about speech pathologists a lot and what social workers do, like Bill. But the thing that really we have to look at is some of our offices like HR. I worked in the state. I know what HR does. Not that I worked in it, but I know what they did. I hung around it a lot. And it's a real important part of any system. And I think we're really understaffed in that department, and that's something we have to look at. Like when Dominic's saying our middle schools need some help, I think some of our different offices need some support also. So with that, I don't know all their names. I just know April, and I don't know all your staff, but I think what you've done with 241 employees, I think we should all be clapping for you, and I want to say thank you again. And hopefully you pick up more support like me, okay? Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. Hoey.
You're welcome.
My office has a great staff, and we work collaboratively on all of these challenges, so I want to recognize them as well.
Any further to say, Mr. Lee?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sheehy. The report is very, very good. And just looking at page 4, it says the Asia population is 53%. Is that a typo? Is that really? 53% is Asia in Lowell?
Yep, this came out of the Lowell 2020 that the city put out, so all of that data came directly from the city of Lowell.
Wow. And I would suppose most of them are Cambodian American. And to Mr. Hoey, I find it hard to believe that out of the 53% Asian that live in Lowell, we couldn't find too many educators that could work for us. In the report, even there was one column where you say that We hired 11 paras and 3 teachers in the past year. I wish there's also another column, Ms. Sheehy. Not to say that your report is perfect. I mean, it's very good. I just wish to see that there's not a column with the data to see how many are actually working. You showed how many are being hired, but we don't know how many are still working. Yeah. And I don't know if this is something that that you could answer right away, but you know, on page 12, you mentioned that there are 2 teachers that are helping teaching MTEL. You know, I know a guy who has a master's degree from Boston University and in social works. He has been teaching for over 20 years now, I believe, or close to 20 years at the adult education. And I don't know if, but he doesn't have MTEL. I mean, he didn't pass MTEL. He didn't take MTEL test yet. That might be a good candidate, you know, to work in our school, I think.
Yes.
So, since you have 2 teachers that are helping taking MTEL test, I suppose you said those are for the paras only?
So the
If-
reference to the MTEL workshop, that is the beginning of our licensure program. We don't have final approval from DESI yet, but they have recommended that the first step be an MTEL workshop to prepare the paras that are going to work towards licensure for the first MTEL that they'll have to take. So, but we could certainly open that up to others.
Yeah, if we could open up to other people who could join the program, I think that would help to recruit. I know you have been sending staff all the way to Fitchburg State to recruit minorities from there too, but if we could recruit here in our own towns or surrounding towns, that would be easy for us, or maybe great for Lowell too, I think.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Any further questions? Thank you. All right, next,
Thank you.
enrollment figures.
Michi, thank you.
Any discussion on enrollment figures? Hearing none, go to quarterly reports on motions. Hearing none, early release day professional development. Mr. Nutter?
Sorry, one question on the,
Okay.
on the quarterly motions. One I did not see, which was one from December that I had actually asked Ms. Doherty and Ms. Martin to put in, was a request to provide the committee with assurance, we had asked originally by January, showing that we're 100% in compliant with the use of student activity funds. And I know your discussion centered around maybe having an audit done or something. Could you just give us an update? I did not see that in here. Thank you.
Any further? I may be losing my voice. Excuse me. Early release date. Mr. Doherty.
Thank you. Oh, you want me to come up there?
Should have saved more.
If I could speak from here, just in terms of the early release day professional development, I want to thank the administration for the report. 2 things jumped out at me about this. First of all, we had great content. I heard a lot of feedback from our teachers and staff that professional development went very well. And secondly, the use of technology to be able to share that information district-wide. We had I believe you call it a live streaming of the meeting. And I don't know if the superintendent would like to add anything in summation about that event, but when people take the time to write you or call and say how excited they were by the professional development, I think that really speaks very loudly to how successful it was. So I wanted to thank the administration for this update and see if the superintendent would like to provide us with any kind of summary on that.
It was reported the same thing to me. Everybody was extremely happy with it. I had a chance to look, to see some of it. The uniqueness about this one is the fact that Ms. Jessica Menahan wanted to have an audience, so we did deliver it in the Little Theater, and not the Little Theater, the other one, the Cyrus, the Irish Theater. And she did have, so we told the people, whoever wanted to come, you can come there, or you can stay in your schools, and we were able to beam it to the schools, and it was extremely successful. And the content was very good. Well, that part we knew about it because we have worked with her, with the administrative team. So we knew that she was very good. And that was for us a new way of exploring how to bring it to all the teachers, because that's a large number. And we're very excited about that. I think the IT department, with their very limited resources, have delivered an outstanding job in making sure that it worked everywhere. We didn't have any problem. And the next step that we would like to push to doing that is to create a two-way communication where people would be allowed to ask questions directly from the presenter. In terms of the content that she presented, was a content, as I said, that was already been working with the administrators, so we knew that they were very excited about it, and the idea was to try to align some PD of the teachers with what some of the administrators were doing. I think it was very successful. I thank the people who organized it, headed by the deputy director. The superintendent was at the head, but there were many of them. Several people had worked very hard. Ms. Desmond and everybody else as well was involved. So any more than that, I would love to wait for Ms. Durkin, because she deserves a great deal of the credit, and I think it'll be more appropriate to have her present more if you wanted to hear more about it, and then she should hear about the feedback. I think she'll appreciate that.
Thank you. Mr. Nutter?
Just a quick question. I think that's great. Are we able to then record that while we're streaming it? No, they won't allow us to record it.
It would depend on the presenter. In this case, the presenter had asked specifically that we do not record that. That's our livelihood.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but in some others, they would say just fine. And some others would say, don't record, but we'll give you all the presentation online. They will make it available.
And so on to the next report, the monthly financial report. Do we have any comments or questions? Mr. Nutter?
You knew that was coming, didn't you? Gary perked right up. Just a couple questions. You mentioned on your cover letter about some transfers. And I noticed that these were the same 2 transfers from last month. When do you decide when it's time to present these transfers?
We're monitoring, it's a good question. We're monitoring the available funds in the revolving fund for this food lunch program. So as soon as we deem that there's enough funds in that account, then we would make the transfer. Last year, we made the transfer towards the end of the year. We also had a midterm transfer. So we're going to look at that and see if we can do another midterm transfer to eradicate some of these deficits.
Speaking of the revolving funds, brings me to my next question. I know you give a summary report about the revolving funds, but is there any way to include a little more detail? The school lunch one that you mentioned, in November we had like $1.4 million. In December it was down to $410,000, and now here in January we're back up to $1 million, 1.1, which is all great, but just give us an idea of how that is, used for those of us who have no idea how revolving funds work.
Sure, I'd be happy to. In this case, the federal government has been slow in sending their payments. And so we have to pay Airmark, the food service contractor, from this revolving fund as well as the payroll. So because they're late, that is dipping our balances. And then as we receive a payment, then it goes back up. So it's really due to the lateness of the the payments from the federal government. But I'd be happy to provide a quick revenue and expenditure chart for all these revolving funds, as you asked.
Thank you. And one more question on the revolving funds. Again, just because I have no idea what some of these are.
Sure.
The school property, Chapter 71 rentals, and school daycare, Chapter 71. I mean, those both have, $200,000 plus in those. What are those for? What do we use those for?
If I may. Oh, I'm sorry. Those are the rentals that we get when we rent the facilities.
Oh, okay.
And what they're used for is usually as custodial or, anything that, in that building.
Custodial or sometimes repairs to the building that where the rents were coming from.
In the budget line item, we have, it appears to me anyway, that we have two line items with the same descriptions. Both say student body activities. One of them has like $100 and the other has $83,000. So I was just wondering why we have two accounts with the same name and what both of those are.
Those are the same type of account. Different schools have a different account number, and some reference the 83,000. One references that 100. So we're using the account numbers that we have in the system, as opposed to creating new accounts. We talked with the city about trying to use new accounts to streamline this, and right now they want to contain the number of accounts that we currently have, which creates this several accounts for the same subject.
There's an account right above that, or right above one of the student body activities, that says school coordinator SW, which I think means salary and wages. It was budgeted at $200,000, but we've only used $21,000. What is that? What is that line item? If you look at the student,
Yes. Yeah, I see it. Let me get back to you, because I don't have that backup material with me, and so I'll send you an email with it to all the school committee members with that answer.
The health insurance, our regular health insurance account, are we on track to keep it? I know last year, at the end of the year, we ran a $600,000 deficit in that account. Are we on track to not run a deficit this year?
Yes, I just looked at that account the other day, and we're spot on. So I'm happy to see that.
The school committee has, or the school department, school committee, has a suspense account?
Yes.
That I don't see anywhere in here either. Can that be included?
Empty.
An update on what we have, because I know the city council recently transferred $250,000 into that. So if we could get an update and have, for some reason, that's not included in the reports.
The suspense account, I can't locate it at the moment.
I couldn't locate it either. That's why I was asking.
I will highlight that for you, and also I'll check into the $250,000 when that's going to be transferred.
And finally, I know there's a 180-page report in there that's called 650 Services.
650 Services.
And it's $188,000
Right.
that have been. Could you just explain what that is and where that money comes from?
A lot of it is extra duty services, tutoring, for example, after-school activities. Those are all in the budget. And we were asked to provide all the extra duty payments. And so that's why each month the report is voluminous, but it encompasses all the extra duty in addition to a teacher's salary.
But where is that money? It explains what it was,
Right.
or it tells us, the cost. but out of what budget does it come, is the question.
It comes from a variety of accounts, some grant accounts. What this monthly financial report is just the operating funds. And so you won't see it because it's from grant accounts, some of them. Others are tutors. The tutor budget is over $1 million. Extra duty, after-school programs are from grants. And so it's just a combination of a lot of different accounts and from different buckets.
And I know we don't mention this anywhere here in the report, but I think it's important for people to realize the school department does an excellent, excellent job in going out and getting grants. And if I'm not mistaken, we this year have somewhere around $16 million that we've received in grants. And people should realize that, you know, the good work that this school department is doing. Not only do we have, you know, our Chapter 70 money and what the city contributes, but the work of the different people in the school department who go out and get us these grants to help us is a huge asset to the city. And $16 million is a, you know, would be a school budget for some smaller communities. So I just want people to realize how lucky and how fortunate Lowell is that we have so many people out there working to get us grants.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mr. Nutter. In fact, in our budget report, upcoming budget report that we're going to unveil in April, we're going to reformat the budget to include a column for grants. So not only will you see the operating funds amount, but also the next column will show the grant funds. So any kind of expenditure, you'll be able to see where it's coming from.
No, it's great. Thank you very much.
Any further discussion? I want to apologize for that little bout. It's not often I can be stopped from talking, but that certainly did. A little bit of a cold here. All right, the next is the overtime and extra earnings report. Any questions on that? Okay. Next is the response to Jackie Doherty's motion regarding city manager maintenance agreements. Ms. Doherty?
Thank you, Ron. I just had a couple of things I noticed, and then I'd be open to any thoughts the superintendent or his staff might have. So I think it was very interesting to look at the last 3 years, what the city has been charging toward net school spending. And a couple of the line items that jumped out at me was, for instance, the Office of the Auditor. From FY16 to FY17, it went up $200,000 in terms of the net school spending we were charged. Also, the MIS department went up $200,000 in charges from FY16 to FY17. But the prior years did not see that kind of jump. Then if you go down to the maintenance of buildings, so in FY 2017, we're looking at $529,928, you know, this number, hundreds of thousands of dollars on maintenance of efforts in maintaining our buildings, which is up $100,000 from last year. Last year was up $100,000 from the year before. So I just think it's interesting to note that there's a lot more that's coming out in terms of our net school spending from the city. And especially with maintenance of buildings, I'm not really sure that we've seen the results of that input. I don't know, I'm just asking in general. But when you look at the overall net school spending expenditures, it's more than $1 million increase from last year. And I know we're in the process of reviewing our maintenance of effort contract with the city, and I just didn't know if there was any, if you guys had any thoughts or information to add to these things I've noticed, or an explanation for why some of these charges, like why would the Office of the Auditor charges go up $200,000 from one year to the next? Those are just some questions that came to my mind, and I'm not expecting you to necessarily have the answers, but I just wanted to open it up if you had some information for us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may, Mr. Mayor, I don't have answers. We don't have answers for you detailed tonight, but I want to give you a little bit of what we're doing with the city. This is a good step forward because we finally got the numbers, and we're also sitting together with them and discussing some of these things and how we can tackle some of these things. For those of you who may or may not be aware, the state, the way they calculate what they consider, there's a certain categorizations. What you see in here in net school spending are what state authorizes towns and cities to charge towards the net schools. That these are legitimate charges toward net school spending. The first ones that you see, treasurer, auditor, MIS department, purchasing department, administrative of insurance, these are all administrative costs. That is the only one that the state looks at differently. And what they say is you have a choice of two things. You can show us the actual expenditures that you claim are due to the school, managing administrative affairs for the schools. And obviously, we would need an agreement with the school committee, approved by the school committee to authorize those, as well as the agreement has to be approved by the state. The commissioner, DESE's commissioner of education has to approve it. If not, if you do not want to go that route, you can apply. The state will publish every year a fee per student, and you can just multiply that by the number of students you have and determine that that's an appropriate administration fee. We are starting looking with that with the city manager and his team and looking at both and see which one is probably more appropriate. And even if we decide to go with the actual, and it seems like this is the school committee has, in the past years, way before us, has always gone with the actual, with these things. Then we also, I am very interested in knowing, it's good that we know that the MIS department charges $832,000, but I'd like to know what it is for. And so we're going to be sitting with them and exploring all the details in this, and trying to understand what is it, because we do have a very large MIS department in there, and the same thing for the auditor's office. I mean, that seems to be a little bit high. Now, having said that, it could be that when you add them up all as administrative costs, they may be just about the same amount as if you take the student rate that is published yearly and multiply by your student. We don't know that. We'll have to look into them. But the good thing is that they have opened the door to accepting to look at every single one of them and discuss it. Those are just the administrative costs. I think the other ones that are of great importance, I think that we need to look at is the issue of snow and ice removal, the issue of trash removal, the issue of electricity, natural gas, and all of these things. I'd like to really see the bills so we can see, is there one particular school that is higher, abnormal? Maybe we need to look at it and figure out how to contain that. So we're going to be diving into every single one of these. And then we'll also be going to be diving with a lot of the other ones, the ones that are not counted toward net school spending, because I still would like to know the detail of those. I know they do not count towards net school spending, but are we paying any part of that in that? And because as you know, when you look at the net school spending, it says 23,971,000. Actually, as you know, we don't get that. We get 8 million or whatever, when you take out the transportation out, because a lot of it is being charged already toward the net school spending, and then we get the rest. So the good thing is we have a dialogue currently with this city manager and his folks, and we'll hopefully continue looking into that and then get some more details.
Thank you so much for that. Could I just follow up with, can you tell me, in the bottom half, the stuff that's not net school spending, the school choice number, 874,000, what does that mean?
That is the number that we, as the city of Lowell, pays to the other communities for our students that attend. For instance, our students who go to Chelmsford, the city is obligated to pay them per head. Just like we received, you remember the ones that we talked about when we had school choice for the high school. We only have school choice for high school, limited numbers, so we get that small amount. There's several of our students that go to Chelmsford, they go to Westford, they go to other places where parents can transport them. And if the communities accept school choice and they go there, then we get, they get counted as part on October 1st. They know where they come, and the city receives the bill. And that's a legitimate, cost. It's the way they work it out is the state will determine how much you need to pay. They'll tell you.
Yeah, can I just add to that?
Please.
Just want to add to that, and it pertains to the next report as well. So trying to kill two birds with one stone on this. The school choice is exactly what Superintendent said, but we do receive money from the state for that student. That's in our foundation enrollment, so we're receiving the $11,000 per student from the combination from the state and the city. The city does pay, as the superintendent said, around $5,000 to the neighboring school district for the school choice. So we do receive money, and the city does pay out.
Any further discussion, Mr. Nutter?
Yes, I was looking through these, and I also had a copy of the previous 4 years. And the auditing one caught my eye also, because from 2011 to 2014, we were never charged more than $240, $245 for auditing. The trash is another one that caught my eye. It is almost doubled from what we used to pay. So some of these, on a positive note though, what else I wanted to bring up? So those, I do have concerns, and I'm glad we're keeping a dialogue open. But Ms. Doherty had talked about, the maintenance of buildings. And what was very disheartening back in the days before the Murphy administration, at one point, according to Mr. Lang, there was 1 year that we got 0. There was another year that we got 25,000 in maintenance of buildings. Yeah. And so, I will say, a couple years ago when we tried to restart the citywide parent council, I know that year the manager created a task force, went in and inspected every single school building with the building department, the electrical department, the fire department, and brought all these schools up to code. And literally what would have happened if 2 of these schools had been private businesses, they would have been closed. But the Murphy administration has put in a ton of money with support from the city council to try to address a lot of the issues, including the ongoing heat issue. So, while some of these do, leave questions about some of these charges for auditing and trash, they really should be commended and thanked for the effort that they're putting in to try to catch up on the lack of maintenance. And as much as I liked Bernie Lynch and John Cox before him, this administration has put more into maintenance of buildings than the previous 2. So we have a long way to go, but at least they're making the attempt. Thank you.
Any further? Thank you. Next motion is by Mr. Nutter, motion of 10/3/18 regarding the level funded 2018-19 budget estimated increase. Any questions? No, just for information, Mr. Nutter?
Yeah, to the superintendent or to Gary, are we cautiously optimistic that there's no increase in health, no increase in transportation, no increase in anything else? And will this, I should have been more clear, will this also be a level service budget? Everything that we have this year?
This is a level service.
Yeah, to answer your question, we had level funded all accounts with the exception of 2, salaries and benefits. So this encompasses the health insurance, which is going up $1 million, just because of the rate of inflation, medical inflation, as well as just the sheer volume of the expense.
But the salary increase, that covers all of our current obligations that we have.
Right, right. The percentage increase of 3%, the step increase, and backing out retirement savings. So the bottom line is approximately 6.1 million. It's fair to say if we are cautiously optimistic that we will see some increase in state funding and city funding, but we don't know that yet. We have a planned meeting with the principals next Wednesday, and where we will start planning for worst-case scenarios. And then hopefully we won't have to go there, but it's better to be prepared than try to solve something at the last minute.
The good news is the revenue forecast for the state has been very positive lately as far as what the state has taken in revenues, so that gives me some hope.
Okay. Well, as a school business official, I always have to look at the worst-case scenario.
Thank you. Any further? Okay. Update on budget hearing venue? Any comments? Okay.
So
Doherty?
we made a change on some of those dates, right? And that's reflected here. I think you probably want a roll call vote on that, if everybody looks at the dates of when we're going to be meeting.
And where are we gonna meet at the Butler again?
If I may, Mr. Mayor, explain the change that we're requesting from Wednesday, 25th of April to Thursday, 26th of April, from Wednesday, May 10th to Thursday, May 10th, 11th, because of the unavailability of, the lack of availability of the city chambers. And if we want to hold them there now, because I know that Mr. Nutter's intent was to try to have the hearings spread around to various parts. If we want to hold them there, we'd have to move because those places are busy. If you want to hold them somewhere else, then it wouldn't matter. You don't have to move the date.
All right. Pardon me? Okay. All right, roll call? Oh, I'm sorry. We need a motion to accept by Ms. Martin and seconded by Mr. Nutter. Roll call.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yes.
Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota? Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Okay, I need a motion to accept reports 8.1 through 8.9 as a report of progress. Ms. Doherty, and seconded by Ms. Martin. Thank you. All right, the next point, 9.1, is a representative of the school building committee. Now, several of you have, in some form or another, either informed myself or the superintendent that you'd like to be a representative to this school building committee. It's my feeling that what is expected is that this committee would send someone that they voted on to attend rather than my selection or the superintendent's selection. It really is a school committee representative, so only you can really say. Now, Mr. Dakota indicated that he would like to be a member. He's not here. We could accept the fact that he would vote for himself. Ms. Doherty has indicated that she was interested. Ms. Martin has indicated that she was interested. And, no, at this point?
Your Honor, I did not offer myself. I can't,
I thought you did.
because of my work commitment.
All right,
But I would completely support Ms. Martin and would make the motion to recommend Ms. Martin do it.
and Mr. Nutter also had applied, but, okay.
Mr. Nutter, I believe, would be,
I also just backed out to support Ms. Martin, but
Okay.
would be her fill-in.
and I would like to just point out to all my colleagues here that we can attend whatever meetings we could attend, and I certainly hope to try to attend some. It's just my work commitment. Thursdays are very bad for me to not be at work, so if I could attend, I would, and certainly attend just for information purposes.
No, everybody is certainly welcome, but the thing is, it is important to have a representative from the school committee that's been assigned by the school committee for this. So, I mean, I guess we'll have a,
I'd like to just say something, Mayor, good,
pardon me? Yes, Mr. Hoy?
where Andy's not here tonight. He did request for that position. I think he went through the superintendent. He didn't answer through the way everybody does over the internet, which I don't answer it either. I usually do everything by phone call. But the only reason why I believe Andy should get it is he's full-time, he's retired, he'll never miss any meetings, or none of those meetings. And on the school committee, he's in the minority. There's, I believe the number, I don't know, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I believe there's 5 people for option 3, and I believe there's 2 that aren't. One is Andy, obviously. I think he's going to, where the Colley option is off the plate, I think Andy now is just like any one of us. He wants the best for our school system. And the reason why I thought we should have Andy, you don't want me because I don't want to spend more than $40 million on the high school. I think by the time we do build it, we'll probably spend that much just repairing it. But I think the numbers are stacked. I mean, there's 5 people on the school committee that want option 3, basically. And on the city council, you got 7 that want option 3. So Andy wouldn't make a big deal to me by giving it to him. And I just thought I wanted to speak for him. I wish he was here to speak for himself. But I would support Andy. Thank you.
I mean, it's not germane to this, I mean, as to what position people are taking. You are 6 members of the, duly elected 6 members of the school committee, and it's up to you to select amongst yourself who you think should be, only because they wish it, not because of a position that they've taken. So I need a roll call by name. Yes, Ms. Martin?
If I could just say a few words. Having gone through the process when the entire committee was informed of the need for this position, I did respond that I would be interested and enthusiastic about serving in the role. I responded using, I think, what was the appropriate method. We were all contacted. I responded using that same list so that there was no surprise. I mean, I was obviously very open about my interest in the position. In terms of ability to serve, I mean, quite honestly, I'd put my attendance record up against anyone. So if I make this commitment, I'm making it with the full knowledge that I will have to work this into my life. And I'm making that commitment to the school building committee and to my colleagues. So I think, we certainly had a conversation about being able to, with Mr. Nutter's interest as well, could stand in. I'm really comfortable with that. But I think I can make, based on past performance, a pretty strong statement for my ability to manage the schedule and be able to attend these meetings. And I would appreciate the support of my colleagues, those already expressed, and as we move forward with the vote. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Lay?
If this is for a leadership position, I have no qualm in supporting Ms. Martin about that. But this is just a representative. It's not.
Correct.
He's not going to be deciding anything for us, would he?
Well, no, that person will be able to vote on that commission.
And the vote would be
The vote is whatever the issue is.
regarding the location, or is it
No,
just regarding the
well,
design of the school?
No, first of all, there's been a decision made, there was a referendum vote to put the high school downtown. The MSBA has spoken about looking at other whatever options that we have for the downtown to ensure that when we make our decision, it's clear, all right? But the thing is, whatever questions come up or whatever issues are raised about the design of the building, the costs, there's so many things that have gone into this. Quite often, sometimes, we're asked to take a vote as to, is this something we accept? They're gonna make a decision, but the final decision as to what will happen with Lowell High School will be a decision made by the city council. And the city council does not have to follow the vote made by this commission, but the commission offers the information to the city council as to what they favor for whatever reason.
One thing I like about Andy is that he has been in the school system. In that case, I kind of I think that he has a little favor from me. May I, Mr. Superintendent, who answered first?
No,
The
excuse
first
me,
person-
it's not Jermaine who answered first, because everyone was sent out, we need some. It did not state whoever sends the message in first, or the request in first,
Okay,
gets the job, okay? So let's take that off the table.
okay, thank you, sorry.
Thank you.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Not who first, they actually all came the same day. I just wanted to make one clarification only, is that I had the response from Mr. Dakota, response from Mr. Nutter, and response from Ms. Martin. The first one, Mr. Dakota, when he replied, he pushed only reply as opposed to reply to all. But it is the same reply. And Mr. Nutter and Ms. Martin responded to all. That's the only difference, that's all. But they all came in on the same day, on the 11th.
but I just want to state again, it's not germane to this selection. So we need a motion to have the roll call. Yes, Ms. Motion and to enter into
Do
this.
I make a motion, say that I would like to see Ms. Martin be our
No,
representative?
just-
I'm not
just
sure
for
what
the-
a motion
For the
is.
vote, correct?
Take a vote.
Yeah, I would go with, she can make Ms. Martin, and then if it fails, we can do another motion.
Well, we can do it different ways. We can have a motion, really, the way I perceive it, to state the names of, in other words, we'll have a motion that you'll be allowed to say the name of who you feel should be elected. Or we can just have you make a motion that you're putting Ms. Martin's name in first and vote her up or down.
So I would make a motion that Ms. Martin represent the school committee on the school building
I need a
committee.
second. Mr. Nutter, fine, motion passes.
No,
Okay.
we need a roll call.
No, the motion passes, but I need a roll call. No. Understand, roll call, please.
Mr. Hoey,
No,
Mr. Lay,
No,
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Mayor Samaras,
Yes,
Mr. Dakota, Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
4 yea, 2 nay, 1 absent, approved.
thank you. Sorry for some of the confusions. All right.
Budget transfer.
We have budget transfer, need a motion to approve. Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Hoey. A roll call?
Mr. Hoey,
yes,
Mr. Lay,
yes,
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Mayor Samaras.
Yes.
Mr. Dakota, Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Okay. All right, we need a motion to take and approve all 6 conferences together. I'd like a motion to approve that by Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Nutter. Roll call.
Mr. Hoey,
yes,
Mr. Lay,
yes,
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Mayor Samaras,
Yes.
Mr. Dakota, Ms. Doherty.
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
We have a letter from State Representative David Nangle. I need a motion to accept and place on file. Ms. Doherty, seconded by Mr. Hoey. Okay.
Should we let the public just kind of give them a general idea of what that letter was about?
That's the request, all right. Mr. Dr. Kalfawi, do you want to?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull it out.
The letter was a note from Representative Nangle saying that he had received our request for funding to support the nearly 100 students from Puerto Rico that we have in district, and that he is working with DESE and with the state legislature to find us the funding to educate those students. And he is aware it's a problem across the state. Thank you.
You need any further information?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're at, all right, on professional development. UTL donated sick days to Mr. Velsagakis. I need a motion to approve. Mr. Hoy, seconded by Ms. Martin. Roll call.
Mr. Hoey?
Yes,
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yes.
Mayor Samaras?
Yes.
Mr. Dakota? Ms. Doherty?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent, approved.
Motion to adjourn. Ms. Martin, seconded by Mr. Nutter. Thank you.